A spicy, nasty boy.
Oh, I'm ready to beat him up.
He's here in the Emerald.
World of Warcraft devs give a first look at Guardians of the Dream PTR. All right, 15 minutes. Turning it up.
Hello everyone, welcome to WoWcast. Today we're going to talk about our next major content update, Guardians of the Dream. And I have two special guests here with me today.
Let's go, shout out
Please introduce
Linksy.
yourself.
Hi, my name is Taylor Sanders. I'm an encounter designer on the World of Warcraft team.
Oh, I don't know
I'm
Taylor.
Ann Stickney. I'm a senior narrative designer on the World of Warcraft team.
Let's go, Ed.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. What is coming with Guardians of the Dream?
Yeah, so Guardians of the Dream is a huge content update. We have a new outdoor zone, the Emerald Dream itself, right, that we're going to be traveling to. We have a new raid. We have new public events within the outdoor zone itself.
Okay.
And then also Season 3 will be launching as well.
So we just finished up Fractures in Time. Can you tell us what's next? What are we going to expect in this major content update?
Well, with Fractures in Time, we kind of wrapped up the story
I
of the
pictured that guy with the beard
Dragonflight,
talking.
And we
Never
also
mind.
saw Iridikron take off for parts unknown. One person that we haven't seen since Zeralek Caverns is Farok. We get to catch up with him here. More importantly,
Are we fighting
what's
him?
going on
Is
is
he the last
that
boss?
Yggdrasil, that tree, the seed that Tyrande took from the Shadowlands, she's planted it, it's been growing in the Emerald Dream, and it's about to cross over. It's a very powerful tree. We're not the only ones interested in it.
Of course not.
So-
Can't be that
Okay.
easy.
Of course not. No, it can't be that. It's never that easy. So turns out Farok's kind of interested in this tree, and he's got some friends that he's bringing along with him.
We finally enter the portal into the Emerald Dream. What does it look like? What can we expect?
First off, we're finally going to the Emerald Dream, right? And we've seen like bits and pieces of it since like what?
Yeah, since, I don't know, back in, the classic days when the game was first kind of released.
Druids. Yeah, with the Druids. And then I think more recently, the Emerald Nightmare raid back in Legion, right? But we've always visited these little pockets.
Yo, are we
And
getting a tree raid?
In Guardians of the Dream, we get to visit like an actual section of the dream. The Emerald Dream itself is a reflection of the wild world. So it's green, it's overgrown, it's beautiful, there's stuff blooming all over the place, but also we aren't the only ones interested in that tree. Farok is there, and he's got some allies with him. So the place is, while part of it is, overgrown, wild,
What happened to the last
beautiful,
tree?
blooming, there's also parts of it where Farok's forces have hit this place. It's a war-torn landscape, right? It's not perfect, it's not ideal, but we're there to fix it and make sure that Farok doesn't get what he wants. If you are familiar with lore, we're going to the Eye of
That's me?
Ysera. And
No
it's a
shot.
place
I'm
that
sorry.
has been mentioned in lore for a very long time. We've
No
never been there.
way.
It's the center of the Emerald Dream. Not literally, figuratively. So the Eye of Ysera focuses on the areas of the dream that are they need the most attention from the green dragonflight.
No.
And in Guardians of the Dream, it's a Yggdrasil. Obviously, we want to help bring this tree from the Emerald Dream into Azeroth.
The
That's a
outdoor
cool looking
area
tree.
that we have, releasing with our content update is just absolutely gorgeous. The art team has really outdone themselves yet again, and seeing the Emerald Dream in all of its glory, right? As players get to explore finally, like an actual zone that represents sort of all of the incredible, like sort of artistic influence of the Emerald Dream, and we're going to see tons of great characters that we kind of know and love that are related to the Emerald Dream itself.
So within this new zone, there's
a good
new
emote.
raid. Can you tell us more about the new raid?
Oh, yo.
One of the sort of war-torn places within the Emerald Dream is our new raid, Yggdrasil, the Dream's Hope. This is a 9-boss raid where players get to explore one of the most interesting places within the Emerald Dream. The story here starts at Wellspring Temple, which is sort of a place within the Emerald Dream that's feeding Yggdrasil, this world tree, all of its kind of energy and life
Okay,
force.
so it's not in the
nurturing
tree.
the tree. It's a very important place
looks
to
sick.
Farok and his designs on
like
the
the
Emerald
vibe.
Dream and what he wants to sort of achieve here.
No way.
One wing of the temple is untouched by Farok and his allies for now, and represents
there's gonna be so
sort
much
of the
trash in there.
wild nature of the Emerald Dream.
Oh,
there
look at
are
'em.
defenders.
Oh,
of
no,
the
you're probably
temple
not
here
fighting them.
who
Those are friends.
natural to
Those
the
are
dream,
friends.
And one of those defenders is our wing boss.
The dudes with
for that
hooves are
section,
friends.
Nimue, Weaver of the Cycle. So when players enter Nimue's chamber, it's this beautiful sanctum that really
That's a
represents
sick-looking boss,
sort of
actually.
the Emerald Dream in its most pure form. On the floor of the chamber, Nimue is ordering the weave of the Emerald Dream itself, sort of represent the act of creating things with the Emerald Dream and defending it and protecting it.
Okay.
In the other wing of our raid, this is a wing that's been destroyed by Farak and his molten allies.
Hey guys,
right?
make Magma Racks
Smolderon
again,
sits at
but
the end
better.
of this wing,
Oh, yo?
the Fire Lord himself. And fire has sort of poured through this
Hello?
portal where Farak has brought the Fireland sort of screaming, you know, into the temple itself. So we're going to see all the destruction that has wrought and be able to fight Smolderon right at the end of that wing. Another encounter we have within the raid is Tendril Sage Swift, who is one of the leaders of the Druid of the Flame.
Yeah, Druids of the
Major
Flame.
Yo,
Basically,
Firelands,
the
right?
last time we saw them was in Cataclysm. When
Major
we defeated
Domo
Vandal
too?
Staghelm. But they've been planning this kind of resurgence.
actually,
and with
that's
the burning
fucking
Atal
sick.
Dazar, they've been able to
That's
recruit
actually
a
sick.
lot more
I'll
willing
take
people to go along with their plans.
What's the last boss?
The exciting thing about this encounter is that finally we'll get to Dragonflight.
Called it. I called it. I've been calling it the whole expansion.
The next thing is I wanted to ask about the dragon riding abilities in combat. Do you think that we're going to be able to ride these dragons into combat in a battle like Malagos or something crazy like that?
Oh.
Maybe
Yeah,
at
I was
some
wondering
point.
about this.
Yeah, I think one of the things, like, we don't have anything planned like that.
I just don't think they're gonna. Yeah, he's gonna say. Yeah, they don't have anything planned right now. They're not gonna be able to help themselves. Just like the beginning of the expansion, you knew for a fact they were going to do a Torghast Anima Power boss. Like, you just knew they were. And you knew they were gonna do an underwater boss. And you knew they were just gonna get their bid out at some point. Like, they were gonna convince themselves to do it.
So
Bean saying
this is
it,
incredibly
Bean saying it.
cool opportunity to be able to jump on Dragonback with
I fucking called
all
it
of your
this
friends
patch,
that
too.
you're raiding with, and pursue Tendril as he sort of like flies around Amir Drasil.
Oh no, guys,
right? You're, like,
listen.
banking
You guys hate
through
the idea of doing
fireballs and
this?
stuff during
Listen, you're gonna get a
combat, so,
massive damage
it's
and
gonna be
haste
really
increase
exciting.
every time you go through one of this, and it's gonna be all during downtime.
Yeah, visually it sounds really
You're gonna
cool
come
to
back
have
and
25
actually
people all
fuck the
mount
boss.
up but mechanically,
Yeah.
we need people to test it out. We just need people to test it
Yeah,
out.
the PTR is so helpful for that.
And
Let's
then
go.
of course, I mean, we can't forget Farak, right?
Oh, so
Finally.
we are
Yeah,
finding
the
him.
reason-
A spicy, nasty boy.
I'm
Yeah.
ready to beat him up.
He's here in the Emerald Dream,
Oh,
and the
fucking
raid will end
spicy,
with a
nasty
showdown
boy.
against, the
Oh
Fire
yeah,
Incarnate
fuck you,
himself.
Fyrak.
Is there any like
You fucking nasty
juicy
bitch.
rewards in the raid?
Yeah,
Fucking
so
spicy,
much
baby.
as in other raids during Dragonflight, players can expect some new armor sets that they can earn, right? That are sort of class themed, but also have a touch of the Emerald Dream to them, right?
They're
there's
beautiful.
The art is absolutely incredible for these new sets within the raid, so they can expect new sets to earn that'll each have class bonuses
Cool
on
bonuses,
them.
yeah.
I'm really excited to get my hands on them for my character.
Bro, that
I
was a
love
hat.
collecting
Yeah, I
sets,
saw it. I
too.
saw it.
Speaking of getting our hands on something,
PTR.
Farak's got something
Oh.
really tasty for us to get our hands on.
Let's go.
We have a new
That
legendary
nasty
weapon
boy's
coming,
got
in
taste.
Guardians of the Dream. This is going to be a two-handed axe that players can earn. They'll have to keep their ear to the ground exactly on how to get their hands on it. But yeah, it's a really powerful weapon wielded by Farak himself. It's called Fearlath the Dream Render.
Yo.
We've been listening to feedback
He looks
from
sick.
the Embers of Neltharion update, and we hope we can provide something that players really feel like they can earn the axe over time and feel really rewarded for their time in the raid.
So we've
So that's the
about
legendary.
the amazing raid and the beautiful zone of the
Oh
Emerald
god,
Dream.
I don't want to hear that.
What other things can we expect in Guardians of the Dream?
So we've got something really unique coming to Guardians of the Dream. It's not just one public event, it's 3 of them. And they feed into each other in this kind of cyclical sort of wilderness nature kind of thing. There's 3 different events. First one is the Super Bloom, and that one is, if you've ever played Overwatch, it's like protecting the payload, right? Okay, so you've got this ancient who's going through and he's
All right.
trying to, bloom.
People are
going
going to hear the word
and you have to
Overwatch
help
and get
him
so
out
triggered, by the way. It's so funny.
defending
It has
him from
nothing to
things
do
and
with what she's
helping him
talking
get
about.
things, that kind of stuff. When that's done, it triggers the second public event called the Emerald Frenzy, and it's a farming kind of public event where wilderness
go.
has kind of gotten
Yo,
out
tell
of
me more about
control.
that
So you go
spicy,
through,
nasty
you're farming
bitch
everything, and
Fyrak.
it's dropping currency, it's dropping seeds left and right. The more people that are in it, the more stuff you get, and it's just a grab. So that feeds into the Emerald Bounty, and with the Emerald Bounty, it's a fostering event, right? So all around the Emerald Dream, there's piles of dirt. You can take those seeds that you gathered and plant them in the dirt. Over the course of 5 minutes, it'll grow into a sprout. And the more people that show up and feed that sprout and nurture that sprout, the bigger it'll get.
No way.
When it blooms after that 5 minutes, you get to loot it for cool stuff.
I love cool stuff. Can you tell us more about the new Renown faction in this patch?
Of course. We've got the Dream Wardens. I mean, we're going into the Emerald Dream, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the Emerald Dream is full of creatures that live there. And they also have a vested interest in protecting Amirdrasil, so they've decided to go ahead and team up with us. But it's composed of those creatures from the Emerald Dream. So you've got Keepers, you've got Dryads, you've got Druids, obviously, you've got the Green Dragonflight, you've got Rune Bears. They're new. They're very cool.
Yeah.
And they've all come together to just kind of like help us out. And obviously, as with any renown that we've got, there are some really cool rewards involved as you increase your reputation with these guys.
Look at
I need
that
to level
dog.
my druid all for this because it's druid heaven.
Yes, Druid Heaven.
Anne and I both played druids, way back in 2004. So I think we're particularly excited to get to interact with this faction. I think we've never seen before in WoW these like types of characters that are really reminiscent of like Warcraft 3 and like Night Elf and Druid lore. So it's going to be very exciting to interact with a lot of those creatures
go,
and
Taylor.
characters
Let's go,
that I
Anne.
associate with like my first character ever.
So as we're dragon riding through this new zone, is there new dragon riding anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So players will be able to dragon ride through the Emerald Dream from day one, which is really a treat with all the incredible art that is within the zone just in itself.
That's cool.
You want to walk that zone.
Yeah, exactly, right? I want to swoop under branches and like,
Guys, there's no owl.
along
I
the
didn't see an
rivers
owl.
And through that environment. They're also going to be able to collect new glyphs that are hidden around the zone and some new transmog appearances. There's a new dragon riding appearance and a new dragon riding mounts. So there's a lot there for players who are interested in dragon riding. and
Oh,
enjoy
so
that
many
during
people are going to
Dragonflight.
ride that.
I'm all about collecting customization, especially for my dragons, so I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, there's a lot there for players who enjoy that. There's also a new active ability that players will be able to earn, with their glyphs called Second Wind, that allows them to sort of like regain vigor instantly. So they can gain a little bit more speed. There's new dragon riding races where they can try to, try their skills at that with some of these new abilities that they'll earn. And yeah, we're just excited to see how players enjoy zooming through the skies in the Emerald Dream
That is
itself.
not the right
Sounds
clip to
handy
play
for
when
that
you say the
dragon
word
riding
zooming
encounter,
through.
too.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You wanna
10
collect your
second
glyphs
rewind
right
here.
away.
Players
Dude
enjoy
rips-
zooming through
And then the thing's just like the guy like
the
never
skies
mind.
in the Emerald Dream itself.
I just thought that was
That
funny.
sounds handy for that dragon
The
riding
dude's
encounter,
literally
too.
going
Yes.
So you may
as
wanna
slow
collect
as
your glyphs
possible.
right away.
Practice. Just practice.
Yeah, get some practice.
Dude's
in.
getting a goddamn bronze medal.
And there's going to be a new season. Can you tell us more about what the season will be?
Yeah, absolutely. So season 3 will start with Guardians of the Dream, and with it becomes a new Mythic Plus map pool. So we have 8 new dungeons that are arriving.
Okay, so obviously the 2 mega dungeons, and there are 8 new dungeons. So they brought back Waycrest Manor, Gigantic Dub, Darkheart Thicket. I think, okay, Dratnos was right in predicting this yesterday because of like the Emerald Dream whole lore or whatever. Blackrook Hold, actually low-key also a good dungeon. I wonder what they do with the Mage spell steal in there. Big question. Everbloom, I've been saying, is great for a while. When you go straight initially, the thing they need to fix in the dungeon, they just need to get rid of this immediately, is remove the ability to either allow you to go through that part of the dungeon immediately anyway, or just remove the ability to go on a 3-person mount and jump up that thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that made that dungeon, like, a huge pain to do. Like, that was so annoying. Just make that not a thing. Just fix the wall as well. Oh, they fixed it a while ago? Okay. Waycrest blows? No. Waycrest is a great dungeon. I think Waycrest is like one of the better dungeons they've made. The main issue with Waycrest was the old affixes. And the way that they worked in like shitty small areas. I think it's fine. I think it'll like maybe take some work with like Incorporeal or Afflicted, but I think affixes are way less ass than what they used to be. And maybe they're being nerfed even more in 10.2 like they were in 10.1. I think Waycrest is great. Really, really good dungeon. Good pulls. Good bosses. Throne of the Tides. Wow. Okay. So far bringing back the older dungeons hasn't been like old dungeons, not like ones from when Mythic Plus was a thing like most of these were, or challenge mode. I'm a little sussy of that. I'm sussy of that. That's probably going to be bad. They're going to have to spend a lot of time on that. But, I mean, who knows? And Atal Dazar is a fucking heater. That's one of the best Mythic Plus dungeons ever. However, if they're going to remove snapping... Actually, I hope they do. I like snapping, but I think snapping is too definitive of this dungeon. I hope they nerf the snap, and they also nerf all the mobs on the right side when you go in. When you go in and go to the right, those mobs need to be more realistic to pull in routes. And the Saurid's jumps should be heavily nerfed, so snapping is not required. Anyways, I really am dobby about Throne of the Tides, actually, but I think the rest of these are fucking great. I think these are fucking really good. Also, I think the new Mega Dungeon Mythic Plus might be kind of, especially the second one might be rough. I'm happy with the rest. For players
to enjoy in Mythic Plus. Among these are some dungeons that are appearing for the first time in Mythic Plus that we're really excited about. We had our Mega Dungeon, that players have really been enjoying from the Dawn of the Infinite update. Yes. And we're splitting that into 2 separate dungeons for players to enjoy in Mythic Plus. We also have 2 dungeons included in the map pool that really fit the theme of the wild nature of the Emerald Dream. The first is the Everbloom, which we last saw sort of in a challenge mode format.
Everbloom's gonna be
and
great.
The second is Darkheart Thicket, which we last enjoyed during Legion.
Darkheart Thicket's a great dungeon.
Which has a really druidic theme, right? Yeah. As we sort of like venture into the beginnings of the Emerald Nightmare and that story back
Actually,
at that time.
I'm gonna hold my opinion on Darkheart. Actually, we'll talk more about dungeons
in there and see if the routes have changed since the last.
The last time I thought a Legion dungeon was good, I was
stupid. We like to have a mix of dungeons that are more linear, but also mix that up with dungeons that are more open. Like
our standards for dungeons have changed.
Waycrest Manor in a way to try to keep some variety in there, and players who enjoy routing can have some options, to really sink their teeth into.
There's going to be, of course, Mythic Plus new rewards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything else for the new season?
Yeah, there'll be a new season of PvP rewards. New cosmetic rewards for players to achieve in battlegrounds and arenas.
So work on your gladiator when it comes out.
Here's your 10 seconds of the video, PvPers. All right, back to the rest of the content.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So everyone wants to know, when is the PTR going to happen?
Yeah, so the PTR will be coming this week. We'll be on the PTR, Ann and I will be running around, and we would like to see players in there with us enjoying the new content that we have.
Thank you both so much for hanging out and talking about Guardians of the Dream with me.
Did they update it yet?
And thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, that's it. So they came out with a new legendary, and they chose to do a strength weapon because of the lore tied to, like, I guess, Fyrax's axe. I mean, axe looks fucking sick, for sure. I feel a little bit weird about this, though, because if you're looking at, like, people who've gotten legendaries recently, yes, there hasn't been one since Shadowmourne, but there kind of has with Gavel. Like, Gavel was basically a legendary, but it wasn't. So, like, it feels like it hasn't been that long since they've had a legendary because they've had multiple extremely strong weapons. I thought they were going to do a legendary for casters. When was the last time there was, like, a caster legendary? It was in Firelands, which this raid is modeled after. And it's, like, Emerald Dream, so druids would be able to wear it. I thought that was, like, a slam dunk, but super interesting. I wonder how this legendary is going to be obtained. So, this patch, what they did was forget how you got it after the point, but the first time you were ever able to get the legendary, it was locked in your region until the first guild killed the mythic end boss. And then it guaranteed drop for the first kill in the region. And then after that, it, like, had a chance to drop. And then they gave it bad luck protection, which eventually made it make sense. If they had bad luck protection from the beginning, no one would have complained. They would have gotten it months ago. But the way you obtained it was cool. They said weekly, something like you can contribute mats. Oh, dude, are they gonna actually Shadowmourne it? Like, you have to pick a person? They said it's something you work towards, like Shadowmourne. That's pretty cool. I wonder if that'll be cool or annoying. It's interesting. A lot of things that people remember as, like, really cool are like marred in nostalgia, and it's actually just, like, annoying. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see exactly how it works. Dragonflight Season 3 dungeon rotation. Okay, so I'm gonna hold my opinion on Darkheart Thicket until I run it again. I very fondly remember Darkheart Thicket. It was like a top 3 dungeon for me to run in Legion. I liked it. I thought Court of Stars was an awesome dungeon, and they brought it back, and I thought it was turbo mid. So I thought I was wrong. It even had me so confused in my beliefs that I thought that maybe I was wrong about Freehold and Underrot being bangers, but then thankfully those came back this season, and every time I've run Freehold, I have now got my confidence back on my dungeon takes, because Freehold's just a goddamn fucking banger dungeon. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I was just only wrong about Court of Stars, but maybe I'm just wrong about Legion dungeons. Because when I read Darkheart Thicket and Blackrock Hold, I think this sounds good, but I'm not sure. So we'll check that out. Waycrest Manor, I'm sure this will be good. Battle for Azeroth is recent enough, and how I felt about the other Battle for Azeroth dungeons that have got back have been exactly how I remembered them. I think Waycrest Manor was a dungeon that had a... Number one, I think this might be the best dungeon they've ever executed their theme on, just in general. It's just a haunted house. The music, it's probably some of the best dungeon music that's existed. Super cool. They need to make one major change before this is even ever released for testing, and it's non-negotiable. When you zone into this dungeon, every door needs to be open. If you guys either, if you didn't play in BFA or if you don't remember, when you zoned in, not even for the week, but every time you put the key in, there was one of, I believe, 4 doors that was open, and that determined the route for your dungeon. And that's dog shit. So, it literally made the key timeable or not, potentially, at the highest levels. You had routes for every way, but, like, I just think that's bad. You just should allow players to go wherever they want. So... yeah, really fondly remember doing Waycrest. Atal Dazar, huge banger. I don't know, what do you guys think? I like snapping, and now that snapping isn't a thing, I think it would be nice to have a dungeon come back where you do snap. But I feel like snapping is too relevant in this dungeon. Like, it's like you start the pull, and... every time you do a Sarid pack, you just have to snap them on a totem so they can't jump on anyone else but the tank, and then you kill them or else you die. So here's what I would suggest is maybe leave some of the snapping in from Atal Dazar, but nerf the Sarids so you don't have to do it. Like, the Sarids were so overtuned. Like, they would, at a high enough key level, they would just give people. So you had to do it. But, like, that's why you snapped. Snapping in that dungeon was a solution to a problem. You could have snapped a lot of other dungeons, but you didn't because those pulls would just kill you. So make the Sarids less gibby. That's all. Everbloom. So I'm a little interested on how this will work. Again, long time ago dungeon. We've only had one dungeon being brought back from Shadowlands so far, or from Warlords of Draenor, I think, right? Just Shadowmoon Burial Grounds, which admittedly was like one of the worst WoD dungeons. So, I mean, that's just... Grimrail. I like Grimrail. I think Grimrail is an underrated dungeon. Really shitty, like, camera angles and stuff. I think Grimrail is pretty good. Oh, and Iron Docks. Yeah, fucking... Season 4. I was only thinking this expansion. Iron Docks was, like, kind of whatever. Wasn't doggy, but... Okay. I love Everbloom, personally. This was my favorite WoD dungeon. So, I hope they bring this back. But also, when I'm remembering doing that, it was, like, challenge modes, and it was... like, DKs could dark sim some really cool shit on the second boss, if you remember that. But that skip is really annoying, but they can fix that instantly. You can just make that hill a little taller or shorter so it's easier or impossible. Yeah, I think the mage boss might be... There's a couple things in Everbloom I'm a little worried about standing the test of time that might need to get, like, a little fresh coat of paint on them, you know? Oh, Sang is saying most of the skips are, like, already patched. All right, cool. But I don't think they're going to have any time to work on... Everbloom, because they're going to have to spend the entire time making Throne of the Tides current. I cannot believe they brought back Throne of the Tides. There's an elevator in here, which is, like, totally doggy. This is, wait, let me get refreshed on ye old Throne of the Tides for a second. Okay, Lady Nazjar, I don't really remember this. It's like, okay, it's a kickable single target thing. Nature damage, you spread out with that. You dodge a geyser. Water spout, I don't remember this. Swirling water constantly knockbacks any units. I don't remember. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch a video. I don't remember any of these mods. I remember the last boss. The last boss is the one I'm the least worried about. I think this boss is gonna be fine. The last boss actually seems like it would translate fine. Was there any way to speed this up? I remember it was, like, kind of slow. Does the boss actually activate when they all die, the initial ones? I don't know if there is. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait until this comes out on PTR, but I mean, they're gonna have to completely remake this dungeon to be current. So hopefully they do that. So huge sussy on Throne of the Tides, but Everbloom's a dub, Atal's a dub, Waycrest's a dub, and I'll hold my opinion on Darkheart Thicket until I see it again, and Blackrock Hold. Definitely Spellsteal is going to matter a lot there too. We were wondering what they were going to do. My guess was wrong. I guessed they were going to create a new Dragonflight dungeon because they said they were going to do that at the beginning of the expansion, and if not anytime, why not now? Maybe next season. But they said in interviews that they wanted to keep the dungeons at 8, and now we were wondering what they were going to do with the 6 remaining dungeons after the Mega Dungeon, and I thought they were going to bring like one Dragonflight dungeon back from season 1 and 2. But instead they brought 6 dungeons back. Pretty crazy. All right, cool. So there's some more stuff to look at. Let's we have all day, and later on we should have the PTR as well. So here we go. So we have more information about the raid. Amir Drasil, the Dream's Hope. What are we gonna call this raid? Amy D? All right, let's hear about this nasty, spicy baby. Fyrak. Fyrak has arrived in the Emerald Dream. Fyrak blazes through the Emerald Dream, gaining power to exact his evil plan. This raid includes 9 bosses, including a dragon. I just want to say, bro, I called the fuck out of this. I called this before this expansion even came out, that there was 100%, like, just like you knew when Torghast came out, there was going to be an anima power boss. I fucking called this shit from the... I think my exact guess for what the fight is, let's see how correct it is. This is, again, all pre-expansion. It's an early boss, so who cares? Similar to the Torghast boss. You're, like, fighting the boss here, and then at 70%, the boss goes AFK for, like, a minute. You get put on dragon riding mounts. You go fly around and collect a bunch of haste buffs. And then you meet the boss in his next location at the end of it, and you come back and you have, like, a haste buff for... or a damage buff for as many things as you were able to fly through in that amount of time. So it doesn't like fuck you, it's not hard, but it's just like an easy first boss. It does look like I'm drawing balls. God, dude, why not always... I promise you I don't do it on purpose, but like you get the point, right? I wonder if it'll be something close to that, because it's like super inconsequential for an early fight. I wonder how many other bosses are Firelands reminiscent, right? I mean, Elisrazor is absolutely the inspiration there. So I wonder how that boss ends up looking. They had one boss that looked exactly like Balrog. They had one boss that looks exactly like Major Domo. I doubt they're going to do Bethelak or the boss that turns around in a circle again. They had a worm. There wasn't a worm boss in OG Firelands, but it was like a worm that goes in a circle. When I saw that, I was like, okay. Someone was like, do Magmarax, but better. This raid includes 9 bosses, including Dragon, leading to an ultimate showdown with Fyrak at the top of Amir Drasil. We were wondering what the boss was actually going to be. Someone actually theorized that this raid might be Fyrak's second to last boss, and then you fight some other idiot at the end. And then you fight the Bigman next raid. But I guess we are fighting Fyrak, which is cool. Fyrak's a big guy. Like that. End of Fyrak's Chaos. Earn great rewards for your efforts, like new class sets and a new legendary weapon. Firaloth, the Dream Render. Yeet! Yeet!